NBA fans enjoy the fragrance of trade season in the morning, and the odors are stronger in some places than others. While clubs like the Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets, and Memphis Grizzlies may look forward to the February 9th trade deadline with confidence, others are staring at their roster voids like LeBron James is staring at J.R. Smith. Therefore, varying levels of urgency are being applied to each NBA front office. We decided to take a look at the 5 franchises facing the most pressure heading into the 2023 trade deadline. Number 5. Los Angeles Clippers. Injury-related underperformance and lack of continuity has generated a feeling of urgency for a preseason title favorite that has been indisputably subpar. Hey, don't you know that when Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are on the court together, blah 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 blah. At this point, the Clippers are living in a parallel dimension with hot dog fingers and Rakakuni. In this reality, the one that matters, they're a 500 club with the NBA's 4th worst offense. Leonard and George have only played 18 games together and have a combined record of 11-7. Not exactly inspiring confidence. The good news is that this roster is perfectly constructed for a trade, with mid-level salaries that can be used as filler for a larger deal or swap for a better-fitting player at a similar cost. Nick Batum, Reggie Jackson, Robert Covington, Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris Sr., and Norman Powell all make between 10 to 16 million, and Jackson's is the only contract that's expiring at the end of this season. The Clippers also finally have a first-round pick to dangle in a trade, and given the current state of the team with 2 aging stars, the 2028 selection could look pretty juicy to a potential partner. Point guard is the most obvious area ripe for improvement, with Jackson taking a step back this season and the Clippers sporting a -6.6 net rating with John Wall on the floor. Wall's $6.4 million salary could be useful in a trade, with potential targets such as Utah Jazz vet Mike Conley and, a bigger swing, Raptors point guard Fred VanVleet. This team was built for championships, coming extremely close to 2 seasons ago, but right now it just feels like something needs to happen, if for nothing else than to shake up the melees. Leonard is starting to play like his old self, and the last thing you want to do is waste a healthy season from him, since we don't know how many he has left. The urgency is certainly there for the Clippers. Number 4. Toronto Raptors. Possessing multiple impactful players heading towards a deadline that lacks them, the time could be right for the Raptors to sell off their pieces and look forward to the future. Toronto was listed by our Sam Quinn as one of the potential sellers that could dictate the trade deadline market, as the team possesses an abundance of an otherwise scarce commodity, players who could genuinely impact the title chances of a contending team. Two-way wing OG Anunoby has reportedly grumbled about his role in the offense and will command a sizable extension in the near future. All-star point guard Fred VanVleet has yet to come to terms on his own extension and will almost assuredly opt out of the final year for his deal to enter free agency this offseason should they fail to reach an agreement. Gary Trent Jr., a career 38%, high-volume three-point shooter, will also likely decline his option after the season and enter the free agent market. If you want to think even bigger, All-NBA forward Pascal Siakam, whose contract expires after next season, might also be available if Masai Ujiri and the front office receive an offer they simply can't refuse. The pressure on the Raptors this trade deadline revolves around an important decision: blow it up, stand pat, or something in between. Number 3. Golden State Warriors. The Warriors' problems this season could be remedied through a trade, but they'd have to compromise their bridge to the future in the process. There's no way around it. The defending champs have struggled this season. A recent report said that the Warriors' front office isn't expected to trade any of its 3 former lottery picks, James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody, prior to the deadline, but that always comes with the subject to change caveat. Considering Wiseman would likely have to be in any significant trade Golden State makes, it would appear to be another quiet deadline on the horizon. Keep in mind that Golden State also doesn't want to take on salary that would add to its massive luxury tax bill, so anyone they trade for would likely have to be a rental on an expiring deal. Would you get rid of one of your young lottery picks for a few months of win now help? Most teams would say no, but the Warriors have an aging championship core armed with one of the best players in history at his apex, which makes things a little more difficult heading into this deadline, to be sure. Number 2, Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic is a one-man show, and it might be time to make a move as a show of good faith to a generational superstar. Despite Mark Cuban's insistence that he got it dead wrong, ESPN's Tim McMahon reported earlier this month that Luka Doncic has strongly indicated that he wants the Mavericks to upgrade the roster before the trade deadline. When your 24-year-old MVP candidate gets testy about needing more help, there's pretty strong pressure to oblige. And can you really blame him? Doncic is performing at historic levels, but the Mavs have hovered around .500 for most of the season, partly due to losing his running mate, Jalen Brunson, to the New York Knicks this offseason. Dallas didn't provide any reasonable backcourt replacement for Brunson, and the addition of Christian Wood has hurt the defense as much as it's helped the offense. What's left is a Mavericks team unable to win most games unless Doncic goes ballistic, which, fortunately for them, happens quite frequently. The Mavs have the salaries of Wood, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Spencer Dinwiddie to play with, along with plenty of available future draft picks. What that gets them and what they're willing to part with remains to be seen. Number 1, Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James doesn't want to spend the final days of his career on a mediocre team. But the front office and ownership appear hesitant to utilize future assets to take what could be a futile shot at contention. LeBron James recently said of his team's current situation, "Y'all know what the F should be happening. Unfortunately, there should have been several different iterations throughout Lakerland about what exactly the F should be happening. Trade Russell Westbrook? Keep Westbrook but trade Patrick Beverley? Trade Anthony Davis? Trade LeBron himself? No matter which version you think is most prudent, it's hard to argue that the Lakers have any chance of winning an NBA title with their current roster. So there needs to be a turnover, whether it's before the trade deadline or in free agency this coming offseason. James doesn't seem to be willing to wait, but the fact that he signed an extension that takes him through at least next season relieves a little bit of pressure from the front office. That being said, there is urgency. The Lakers front office showed as much on Monday, completing the first notable deal of trade season by acquiring forward Rui Hachimura from the Washington Wizards. James, soon to be the league's all-time leading scorer, is averaging nearly 30 points per game and shooting almost 60% on two-pointers. Davis, when he was a healthy one for a brief stretch, looked like the most dominant player in the league. For all the flack he's caught for his late-game decision-making, Westbrook has performed well since moving to the bench, putting up 16.5 points, 7.9 assists, and 6.5 rebounds on 44% shooting as a reserve. New head coach Darvin Ham seems to have the Lakers playing hard on both ends. There's something there, no matter how faintly the candle is flickering. That's all for now. Let us know what you think of the video in the comment section below. Please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to receive new updates, and we hope to see you in the next video.